Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. Another quick little update. I've not been able to do much today. My wife has come back down from Vienna, and this is why I'm kind of half dressed up a bit. I did take the other door skin off, and I just wanted to show you this, and I'll show you part of the gusset. I haven't got it completely made up yet, but it will just show you the idea behind it for the doors to keep everything in line. But you can see this is the second one I've done. And you can actually see there that the end, so I'm going to have to actually rebuild this end here and cut it back. One of the things I didn't say before is that when you're doing these skins, not a bad little idea. I mean, it's got to be sandblasted, so obviously a lot of it's going to come off, but at least you can mark it with a scribe. And you can see there that while it was still on, I actually mark the edge to where it comes to. I mean, obviously this has got to be sandblasted, but what I can do is scrape a line into it. In fact, it's probably what I should have done. And you can see there that I've put a white line. I use these white marker pens. They're very good. They do dry up quick, so you've got to keep the top on them. But you can see I've tried to do it so I can see where it is. So what I'll do is I'll mark that out. It will actually show up. Again, you can see there, so you know how far the skin should come back. It will show up because when it's sandblasted, you'll see that area. It'll be darker for sure. So these are two things that have got to be done. As I say, it's just a quick update. The bad news is, unfortunately, the engine is not going to be able to be picked up tomorrow like I thought for the Mini, for the Cooper. It's been a problem, not a problem, but the head will probably only be finished on Monday, so maybe Tuesday or Wednesday I'll get it back earliest. But I'll do a full video on it when we do get it back and when we put it in and then finish the car off and all the other bits and pieces. I've still got some weeks to wait for the interior from Newton Commercials. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's the way it is. You know, he's had the engine for quite some time, but I told him there was no rush on it. This Mini has been, to be honest, has been more of a fill-in job because the XKs kind of came first, and the Mini was a fill-in for when we didn't have parts or they were getting sandblasted, that kind of thing, and that's how this car ended up getting done to where it is now. Anyway, I was watching George Knapp. If you're watching him, George, I was watching his video the other night about where he was putting the subframe back on, the rear subframe, which was good news. You should look in George Knapp, him and his wife Hayley. They make a really good team. And he was using a drill with a tap on it. Now, I should explain, and maybe George will mention it, but when I went to see him down where he lives, he used to work in a machine shop, so he knows these taps and dies very well. The only thing I was going to say is be cautious about using a drill. If you're going to tap something and you're going to clean it out, he wasn't doing that. What he was doing was he was just cleaning out the threads. But if you're going to tap it for the first time, you should really do it by hand because you need the feel of whether you're taking out swarf or not. The only thing I would say, I mean, this is how most, especially a long thread, are done. They're done with a post drill or a machine that's actually a vertical cutting machine. So they are put in that way with a drill, but with a hand drill you need to be very good and you need to know what you're doing, and George obviously does, so there's no problem there. But be a bit careful. If you want to do that and you've got a very long thread, maybe start the tap yourself and then put the drill on and do it. But just make sure it's on the thread correctly, because you could actually push it through and it could be at a wrong angle. So just be careful. And I'm sure George will mention it anyway. But it's a great idea. I've not seen anybody use a hand drill, but I think I would actually put it in, start it by hand, and then use it. But it's quite a good idea. Anyway, I'll show you how this is going. So I'll pick up the camera and I'll show you, as I say, just a little quick video. So they all got to get sandblasted. So you can see here now I've made this gusset, and what I've done is I've built a plate in here, which is the same as the door plate, and I've just tacked it on at the moment. I'll obviously take it all off and do it properly, and there'll be a bolt through here sideways on. So the idea is that I can actually pull it apart. I can actually take these off, or I can just pull it apart. And the idea now will be, you can see I've just tacked this in place. I'll properly weld it all up so it's strong. It's very thick, it's quite thick steel. I think it's 3mm, I think. So what I've done is, because there's an angle here, I've built this piece, and now I've built a front, and the reason for that is I need to be able to pull it straight. You can see I need to be able to pull that straight. So what I'll do now is I'll build a plate, excuse me, I'll build a plate on the front here, and then put one up behind it and one in front. And the problem is the problem with this system would be, is unless you've got a left hand nut and a right hand nut, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to pull it in or out. So what I have to do basically is make one welded, so it's solid, put a washer in between it, and then use the other one, so I can either push it back that way, turn the whole thing, or pull it back in the other way. So that's the reason I've done it like that. You can see that should work pretty well, and it will make, and I'll make another one for the other side. And like I say, it's just, you can see the thread just turns there. But obviously if I try, the nut's going to turn and not when it's under pressure. So I have to actually weld it in place. But you can see I can actually pull that out. What I'll do now is I'll have to actually take this, cut this down just a little bit. It's a little too long on this end, so you can see I can take it out, and I can put and then there's the box section. So I can still work with this in place. It's not a big deal. And then I'll make the ones up from this piece here to the ones on the front, and that'll keep it nice and solid. So just to say, just a quick update, let you see what we're up to. You can see it's going to be bolted onto those for the lock, and then again in here you can see it's only just tack welded, but it welded all the way around, and that's how they're going to be made. And obviously they're level from end to end, because I want a bit of pull straight, and obviously with that kind of angle, you can see there that's not going to work. That's why I had to straighten this thing up. Anyway, so that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching in, and I'll do a couple over probably Sunday or something. Bye bye. Take care for now, and thanks, and have a great weekend. Bye.